Hi, how you doing today? My name is Judy23. So over the past, well, really 7 weeks, but more specifically for the past 4 videos, I've been using songs by artists who are either really unknown or really known for one song but not much else. And for this talking video, I really want to go along the same lines using an old format. See, some of you might remember from a long time ago, I used to do top 10 gaming countdowns. In fact, the first one's going to be a decade old in about 2 weeks. That's fine. But to be honest, I always wanted to go back into this format because I think it's a great way just to share musical experiences. Is great and all, but it doesn't leave much room for the discussion. So this week, I just want to talk about 5 songs that you might not have heard before that I really think you should take a look. I'm going to rank these songs from the ones you most expect me to say to the ones like, oh, even he likes it? Oh, that's interesting. See, when I was doing last week's video, I was torn between do I want to use this song for the video and talk about the other one, or vice versa. And it really came down to the fact that I really like this song and I really want to talk about it. I love the energy in the song. That opening riff is just so powerful and punchy, especially compared to the rest of the album. That punchy delivery in the lyrics too, it's like the song is dripping with all this venom. All but literally, there are snakes in your lungs and a fire in your tongue, I mistook it for sincere. Like, ooh boy! And the shortness of the song really does add so much to its feel. This is such an interesting breakup song because I don't think it's a breakup between 2 lovers. I think it's a breakup between best friends because of a lover. All the energy and the what did you hear and so afterwards, it is such a brilliant display of this raw emotion. The reason why the song is so low is because I've already talked about this guy for the past few weeks. In fact, you've heard this song already, but I really can't sell this album enough. Please get At a Low Place at the Old Place. It is a really, really interesting, intricate album. So a few years ago, I went to a bar to support my friend who was the main act for that night. One of the opening acts was this girl who I've seen a few times play with them before, but she had an accompanying guitarist this time around. And I remember seeing this guitarist and being like, oh man, this guy's playing really good. So after his set was finished, this guy came out into the audience because there wasn't really a huge barrier between us at the time and was like, hey, do you want some of my music? And I was like, yeah, of course I'll have your music. You sounded awesome. And I distinctly remember this group of other people afterwards who we went to them and was like, hey, do you want some of my music? And they're like, no, it's okay. I remember thinking at the time, like, why are you guys being so rude to this guy? He played really well. Why don't you take some of his music? And now, almost 3 years later, I'm even more angry at them because, oh my goodness, is this album really good. Honestly, the way I describe it, and I don't know if it's a great description, it's kind of like if the Beatles did lounge music. Or it kind of sounds like an insult, like, oh, lounge music, oh, it sounds so, Nah, man, I love songs where it feels like I'm on the stage. Like, I'm pouring my heart out to an audience. I'm not a singer necessarily, I'm a performer. This is a performance I'm putting on. Like, I love performing. There's a reason why I want to talk about this music on camera as opposed to in text. I love presenting my ideas, and I really love music that can do that too. And these songs really do it, especially this one. There's something just so smooth and dreamy and like psychedelic. Like, it's so good. For me, it's a great exploration into this lounge music, performance music space because it's not like it's aggressive. It's not as though it's like a burlesque-y kind of show. It's more kind of open and vulnerable. It's like this is a dream, or I guess more accurately a nightmare, but like an inner look at this person's thoughts. And despite some other songs, it's really kind of self-reflected and kind of more open and earnest as a result. Like, yeah, you're right, Gentle One. I don't even know who I am anymore. I don't know what I see when I look into the mirror. Such a great song. The reason why it's not higher is because to me, like, yeah, this is exactly the type of music I listen to. It's a new spin on it, but this is exactly the kind of music I listen to. That's not to take anything away from this person and or their music. This is really phenomenal. And it's on Spotify. I think this song is going to break all of the mold. Oh man, this guy just listens to rock music. He doesn't listen to anything more than that. Nah man, I try my best to be open-minded about all kinds of music. And this song in particular is, whoa boy. Like, I'm just not going to talk for a bit. I'm just going to listen to this song. Give me a second. This is such a now kind of song. And I don't mean now in terms of like coronavirus or anything like that. I mean now in terms of whatever moment in time you're at, I think this is a perfect song to describe that moment in time. Oh, it's snowing outside? Cool. Zoom in on the branches and like really take in all the detail. Or zoom in onto the snow and take a picture of that. Oh, it's summer outside? Cool. Follow an ant as it moves along. Or take out a leaf and like sketch it into a notebook. That's what I mean when I say this is such a now song. But what day it is, how are you feeling that day, and just take the moment to describe it within yourself. You know what's interesting? I really like the song before because it puts itself within a particular style, right? Like it puts itself within the lounge or the performance environment. This song is kind of the antithesis of that. It doesn't want to be in any environment necessarily. It just is the environment. Take a moment for mindfulness. Take a moment just to live. It's a really interesting idea on how well a song can be without demanding to be placed within something. I could see an argument for the song being more about childhood, especially when that recorder comes in, but I would argue, when are you going to notice the outside world more than when you're a kid? When you have the time to notice the outside world more. The reason why I put this middle of the pack is even though it's still basically a lo-fi song and has all these beats, it starts with a guitar. So alright, I haven't really breaking the mold that hard. I still think I did a pretty good mold breaking, but I can see why others might disagree. But even still, I really like this song and how just chill and introspective it makes me, and I hope you feel the same. Well, now we're in uncharted waters. I can take you guys wherever I want to take you. And while we're here, I really want to take the time to sell this one because it literally sold an album for me. For those who don't know, Green Lantern the Animated Series was a television show that ran for arguably 2, technically really 1 season. There were 2 13-episode arcs, but they really only purchased 26 episodes, so I liked it. I thought it was interesting, but its soundtrack is top-notch, especially the song. Honestly, the song I compare it to is Battle of the Heroes. It's a somber take on the heroic theme. It's supposed to be at one of the lowest moments in the series, and one of the heroes decides, no, I'm not going to give in to despair. I'm going to live with hope and try to push forward. And I really think this song does that with these low notes and these high sounds and this choir voicing. Honestly, you know what it kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of Vegeta right before he sacrifices himself for Majin Buu. It's like the other characters will be like, no, hero, don't sacrifice yourself. But the hero knows that death is going to come one way or another. This death at least will get me somewhere. And I don't mean death necessarily in like the physical, like the hero actually dies. It could be more like, yeah, no, you're never going to be the same after this. I prefer that choice. I want to make that choice. It's just really powerful, and the scene where it plays over is really awe-inspiring too. I really recommend checking it out. But it's not my number 1 though, I don't think. I think the next song makes a lot more sense. I think it makes way more sense to go back to an ambient or beat song. This song, I think, really does speak to exploration in a sense. Because this really does sound like a scientific song with all those and those high pings, and that like it's something that sounds like radio chatter. But I do think when scientists get excited about exploration, this in many ways is kind of the soundtrack that we have. Like it does seem that like everything has potential. There's possibility in everything. Like even though these sounds keep repeating, there's still new added layers on top of each one that kind of pushes it along. And so we do feel like this omnipresent wonder at what's around us. And in many ways, it is a creative exploration. How do we move forward? How do we take the next few steps? What pieces of realization are we just missing that will totally turn this whole idea around? And I really do think this song that kind of nails that approach. I just hope that people recognize that that is the process. I hope people recognize that this is the mindset and how we do feel when we do exploration, as opposed to being something that is completely out of left field, like completely beyond their grasp, beyond their sensory input. Like, no, we can totally make that translation. I think this is a brilliant transformation, and hopefully you can do that translation too. So that was the list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you don't mind, please leave a comment down below discussing these songs and what they make you feel and what do you think about when you listen to them. Also, even though I have some ideas what other top 10s about music I would like to do, if you have any suggestions, please leave some comments down below. I love talking about music, so any excuse I have to do it sounds like a good idea to me. Anyway, that's it for me. I plan to over the next few weeks make up some of the videos I didn't do, but until then, peace.